What's going on, everyone? It's Adam and Craig with Grandstand Golf. This is our round 3 DFS Showdown targets for the 2021 US Open. Craig, the leaderboard after the cut, some interesting names up top. Richard Bland, I think, is the story of the moment for sure.
Absolutely, he is. And you know what? If he can hold on and be relevant through the weekend, I think that's going to be exceptional. But if not, I just hope he enjoys being the story of the golf world today,
For sure.
because that's not something a journeyman 48-year-old oftentimes gets to experience.
I think I saw that he's the only player in the field not to miss a putt inside 10 feet.
Oh yeah, I mean
So,
his numbers are crazy. So,
yeah.
but yeah, you're on top of the U.S. Open.
Your boy Louis Oosthuizen still paying off your bold prediction of third or better, so you got to love to see that as
I'm
well.
assuming I get the ties. I'll argue strongly if I don't get the ties.
We'll give you the ties. We'll give you the ties. Matthew Wolff up there. I mean, we kind of teased that he was the chalk at 6,600 for round 2 showdown, but he wasn't that highly owned. And
you know what? Going in retrospect, if I knew what his ownership numbers would have came in at, I for sure would have played it, because it was going to be a little bit chalky, but it's such a good deal, assuming he had any kind of ball striking, which
I thought he was going to be in the 20 to 30% owned.
Yeah, I thought he'd be kind of 20-ish as well.
But
yeah, Usti, it just felt like he couldn't get momentum going.
Yeah, the latter part of his round seemed a little bit better, so I think good momentum going into the weekend.
Yeah, to me, the stories are there's two people, Rahm and Xander at 3 and 2. They just look like they are in control of their games.
Oh, Xander could have birdied the last, and I mean the stat at the bottom there: 23 of the last 25 champions are within 2 shots of the lead after 36 holes. Xander's no longer in that. He's got to play. He's against the odds now. He's got to make it 23 of 26. I mean, he's got to defy the odds.
I'll still give him a better than, let's say, the 2 and 25 that came. I'll give him better than 2 and 25 odds of taking it down.
Really? Yeah, I think it is Rahm and Xander. But there's still firepower up there. Scotty Scheffler's really interesting. Bubba Watson for sure is super interesting. I mean, Mackenzie Hughes dropping bombs from everywhere, but still nice to see him up there.
A couple of Canadians in the top 20 here. We've got Hadwin and Hughes.
Oh yeah, I didn't see Hadwin stuck in there as well. And then I mean, yeah, if you look at the right side of that slide there, the guys at even, that is firepower right there. That is a bunch of superstars right there.
Yeah,
I'm talking specifically about Bezeda now, of course, but
it's going to be a very exciting moving day because we have such a sorry, that one. I didn't see the joke, because to me, Bezeda is like a top 5 player in the world. So, no, I think it's going to be very exciting. It's going to be a very exciting moving day because we have such big names that are still absolutely within striking distance. So,
yeah.
You know, when you get a compressed cut like this, where most guys are not too far off a lead that could easily move backwards on the weekend. So
yeah, I was gonna say, like Haotong Li at the PGA Championship, or a little bit like Matt Wolff going into the final round of last year's US Open. I do expect the guys up top, like, it is hard to not make that big number, and I think the course will just get progressively a little bit harder.
Yeah, and I mean, maybe last year's a perfect example at Winged Foot, where we had a bunch of guys. I think 5 under-ish was leading it, and then on the weekend, it was who can survive and who can not move the other way.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's the leaderboard. Any final thoughts before we move on?
No, let's. We don't have a ton of time in our turnaround for the showdown, so we'll go into it. I think we'll go into it a little bit more going into the final round. Get into a little bit more of the scenarios and all that kind of thing.
Yeah, for sure. So round 1, 2.71. Round 2, 2.68. Pretty close round to round. Our picks, not that great. Kind of dragged down by my boy Tony Finau. I have 0 1 and done points this week. That kind of makes me sad. He's also my pick to win. Makes me sad. His record at Torrey and his US Open record seemed like an obvious pick, but Tony Finau let me down today and let down my showdowns just to cap it all off.
Yeah, and I, one that we didn't mention that I think is worth mentioning, because we're probably not going to talk about it on the weekend, but Victor Hovland, disappointing. I didn't really see what happened. I kind of caught an update. I don't know if you saw anything more than that, but essentially
he posted a picture on social media, his eyes all bandaged up. I think they had to fish out sand of it. He said in his warm-up he got sand in the eye and really couldn't get it out. And yeah, that's not funny. I've scratched my eye before, and
Oh,
I
for sure. And
couldn't wear
it's just like
contacts for months.
I mean, he wasn't in a great position to start the day, but I think he was +3 going into the round, +3 or
Yeah,
+4.
he's +3. Like,
So,
yeah, and then he
well,
fell off.
oh, absolutely. But something like that happens to you. Like I haven't had anything probably that bad, but I've had just like random eye things, and you're not thinking about anything other than how much your eye bugs you. And so,
Yeah,
to try to get
if
through, it just sucks that it's the second day of the U.S. Open and that happens to you.
if an eyelash falls into my eye during the show, I'm just walking out of here, and you're finishing on your own. Like, I'm not powering through that. No way.
Yeah, well, I mean, some people are a little hardier than others, but
A little bit.
we know where we fall.
Yeah, exactly. DFS 6 of 6, 5 of 6. It moved to +4. The cut line moved to +4. I'm not gonna lie, I had a pretty good line that was like well clear, so I was kind of cheering for the +3 and a little bit of carnage. But
I was going back and forth because I had
yeah,
yeah, with other people that ended up missing. I was like, oh well, like if these guys make, then this brutal cut
yeah,
line. But no, I got killed by a few of these. I mean, Finau, Hovland. Yeah. Anyways, no one wants to hear me gripe about my 6 of 6s. I've got one through. It has Rom at the top of it, so it's not great right
hey,
now, but it has upside potential.
me too, me too. So yeah, 6 of 6 is still pretty thin though. If you have one or a couple through in 20 maxes or 150s, you gotta be feeling pretty good.
Yeah.
Weather, no real notes.
I'm not making any DFS decisions based on weather.
Let's do picks then.
Yeah, and I think one thing that should be interesting, because we talked about this yesterday, the split yesterday, it was a little bit harder in the morning and easier. I think it was just the waves, because it was the opposite today. It played easier in the morning and harder in the afternoon, which typically is what you would expect, but we should have seen that kind of both days, I think, based on the weather we saw. So I don't think it was necessarily one field or one side of the field getting screwed over by weather so much. It was just one side was stronger than the other.
Yeah, I completely agree. Okay,
It's kind of sucks when we just agree about things.
I know 3 picks each. I don't know if we're going to agree about our picks. I'm being honest here.
Okay.
3 picks each. So let's jump into it. First one here, I'm going Collin Morikawa, 9,500 on DraftKings. He went 75-67. Really nice round today. Starting at +4, came back now even par. He has 1 eagle, 7 birdies, 7 bogeys, 1 double through the tournament. But how he's getting it done is as being one of the best ball strikers in the world. He's finding fairways, 2.53 off the tee, 9th in the field right now. Over 2 strokes on approach, 39th, and I feel like that can absolutely improve. And then his around the green and putting is kind of neutral. But we saw the huge improvement from 75 to 67. So a lot of those got better, I think, on Friday compared to his Thursday opening round. I really like Collin Morikawa coming in. I was kind of stressed with him starting +4, but when he started the day, it seemed like he was kind of locked in. And I expect that momentum. I expect a closer to what we saw on Friday than Thursday, basically. But basically, he's playing really well right now. His last 9 rounds, he's gained at least or over 3 strokes on the field in 5 of them, so over half of the time. And some of them are like +5 strokes in total or +7 strokes in total. I think he has a couple times. Like, absolutely absurd rounds where he seems to lap the field. I just think it's going to be, his ball striking's so good. I'm going to call him Morikawa tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, value-wise, everything like that, no-brainer to me. The only worry is ownership with going, 75 -4 today. Everyone loves to see, the way he's striking the ball, everyone loves it. And so I feel like I like it. You like it. I think a lot of people are going to like it. That's my only concern. But so just maybe play him with other people you don't think are going to be as highly owned. Like, for example, my first pick here, who I think will be highly owned, Xander Schauffele, to me, is 10,300. Not as good of a deal. Like, I think you're probably kind of getting similar upside out of both of these guys, but I still just like Xander. He's gone 69-71, -2, 7 birdies, 5 bogeys. Left a lot out there, I would say, both rounds. Yeah. It kind of felt like he could easily be at -7 or 8 in this tournament if he really had been playing well. He's gaining 6.5 strokes with his ball striking. He's top 15 in both of those. Around the green's good. The putter hasn't been great, but he sinks that putt on the last one. All of a sudden, that's a tiny positive. But even still, Xander has the potential to be top 5 in the tournament in terms of his putting. So there's huge potential still to the upside. I don't really feel like I need to justify the Xander pick at all. So I just put all the Xander things. The U.S. Open, he's been top 6 4 straight years. 6 top 5s in the season, number 2 strokes in total over the last 12 months behind only Jon Rahm. I think Rahm and Xander, the top 2 priced guys at the top of the slate. I think both of them are fine. To me, Xander's, it seems like he's been, scoring to the bottom of how he's been playing so far. I think both of
Yeah.
them, it could go either way in the weekend, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the leaderboard, you don't really know, I guess, when the tournament starts or when it's going, who necessarily you're going to root for until it kind of plays itself out a little bit. But I noticed myself a lot today, kind of cheering for Xander, and he missed he must have missed a couple of putts under 5 feet. Like
Mm-hmm.
this guy, what I like that he's putting them fast on POA. He's putting them fast right into the back of the cup. But if he misses it, it kind of just lips out, and he did that a couple times. So yeah, I agree. He could be at 400, 500 right now. But the whole hometown thing, like I would love to see him take this home.
It feels like there's a little bit of magic sparkling around Xander right now.
Yeah, but pressure. But that might make
For
him
sure.
a better Saturday play than Sunday play.
Yeah, I think he's fine with pressure. I think honestly, this could be the Xander coming out party. Like
I hope so.
Yeah, I hope so too.
I hope so. Okay, my second pick here. I'm going a little bit low for my next couple ones here. I'm going Harris English 7,300. He's gone 7,270, even par. 1 eagle, 3 birdies, 5 bogeys. I do like just the 5 bogeys. I feel like it's keeping it pretty clean, not kind of a psycho scorecard there. He is losing off the tee quite a bit, but gaining on approach, gaining around the green, and gaining putting. So I feel like his ball striking is in a very good place. And if he isn't getting the green, it's likely to go up and down. He's not getting a lot of those bogeys, like I said. This is kind of similar to Xander in terms of not really the U.S. Open play, but Harris has played the last 6 rounds at U.S. Opens, Winged Foot, and here pretty well. He's gone 68, 70, 72, 73, 72, 70 in those 6 rounds. He hasn't lost a lot of strokes. That 73 was the final round of Winged Foot where he lost that first drive off the tee in the thick rough when it was like 10 feet into the rough, like barely missed the fairway.
He's not losing that this week.
He's not losing that this week. Yeah, for sure. I just feel like Harris English is closer to the Century Tournament of Champions form than he is to kind of the spring form. And at 7,300, he's just too discounted. I think he is closer to that tier 2 kind of player in this field almost.
Yeah, serious FOMO on. You brought him up on one of our shows, I think. If not, you just.
Yeah, I think the podcast. I have quite a bit of him. I don't know
Yeah,
if he's my 66.
feeling like I missed an opportunity with him. Didn't follow you in on that one. To me, to still get him at 7,300. The U.S. Open history is kind of the $7,300 version of Xander's. Xander's doing it for a while, so it's high. Harris, it's a little bit. There's a few more question marks, but yeah, no, I like the play. It's tough to know what's going to happen with ownership down in that range. I've got a few picks down in that range, and Phil making the cut is, I think, going to keep some ownership down there, but it'll be interesting.
Yeah, for sure.
So, not even down to that range yet. Paul Casey, 7,900, 71, 75. He's plus 4 birdies, 8 bogeys. You look at how he's done it. Essentially, the kind of things I oftentimes like in Showdown. He's lost 2 full strokes, over 2 strokes putting. He's 114th. Now, I should say all these numbers are taken about 7-ish Pacific time, so 10-ish Eastern. So this was when the rounds were still finishing up. So these might change in the last decimal places in the rankings a bit, but essentially this is through 2 full rounds. But yeah, so the form coming in is good, especially ball striking. So he's gained on approach in 15 of his last 16 rounds, averaging over a full stroke on approach, 1.16 over those 16 rounds. He's gained off the tee in 13 of 16 rounds, averaging almost 0.7. So to me, if he has a good putting round, I think there's high upside. We're still getting him at the same price as pre-tournament, so it's going to be interesting to see whether he still attracts ownership. But a lot of people don't like to play people who are plus 4 just making the cut. So we'll see.
And I think I'm one of them. I was very high on Casey coming in. He's one of my picks. He's one of my highest guy owns, I think, at 30%. I was sweating. I was actually kind of hoping he made a birdie on 18, and then it did stay at plus 3. But tracking him through 3 days was kind of stressful enough as it was. And especially late this morning as he is kind of coming in, it was too stressful for me. So I don't think if I'm playing one Showdown lineup, I don't think I can handle that with Casey again. So I'll probably skip over him now for those reasons. But I think, like you said, there'll be quite a few people like me that feel like even though he made the cut, kind of got burnt a little bit with Casey.
I think that that's perfect because I feel like you're the Casey guy that like you're always on Casey, and so then as soon as you go off him, it's gonna be like the day that he goes and has a really good round, and you're like, I always. Yeah. But the other thing to keep in mind is something you said at the start of the tournament, how important the Olympics are to him. Now Matt Fitzpatrick, who those are the two fighting over an Olympic spot, is even I think on the tournament. He's. Or no, that's not updated.
No, he fell back quite a bit. He could maybe +2, +3.
Okay, so essentially all I'm saying, Paul Casey and Matt Fitzpatrick are going to be playing a match through the weekend to see who gets that Olympic spot. And Casey has said how much it matters to him. So just one thing to keep in mind, he's still got the narrative on his side.
Fitzpatrick's +3 right now. He's +4 today.
Maybe roster both of them.
So it's close. Yeah, exactly. Okay, my last pick here. I'm going Patrick Rodgers, 7,100 on DraftKings. The price has come up. He was my 6K guy I talked about on our podcast. Love what I've seen from him so far. I only got him in 10% of lineups, but he's in one of my 6s. I almost went with him yesterday, but I wasn't quite sure with 18 holes sample size if we saw enough. But I do feel like he's playing well, and I don't think he's going to be one of these guys that we see fade through the weekend. I actually like where his game's at. So he's gone 70, 71, -1, 6 birdies, 5 bogeys. Again, pretty clean with the bogeys, 5 bogeys. So clearly it's a little bit opposite of what I like to look for Showdown. I mean, his putter has been very good, +4.73, 5th in putting. But I mean, I talked about on the podcast that he's a Stanford guy. He won a ton at Stanford, tied Tiger's records. He's a big POA, kind of specialist. I don't usually look at green types that much, but he does play California courses very well. But with that, he is also gaining on approach, and he is also gaining off the tee. And he's third in driving distance through 3 rounds at 334 yards. So these long par 5s on 9, on 13 or 14, whatever it is, he can actually push it out there and possibly get there in 2 to have those scoring opportunities. So is he a little bit of a riskier play? Yeah, for sure. Is his putting going to drop off in round 3? Probably, because +2 per round is kind of unconscious. But I don't feel like he's going to, go +5 and completely fall out of this picture. I feel like he's going to be around with a later tee time on Sunday. So how he gets there, I'm not exactly sure, but I just like where his game's at right now.
Yeah, my one concern, first off, I need to address, he didn't break all of Tiger records. Like he
tied his.
I know. I'm just saying. You said he tied Tiger's records. Like no, Tiger's got hundreds and thousands of records that a lot of he might have tied one of Tiger's 453 Stanford records. My only concern is I'm going to be playing at least I wouldn't put him in a Xander lineup. I would play him potentially with people you think might have a little bit lower ownership up top because you need to find ways to get leverage and just being at -1 at 7,100, it will attract eyeballs.
It stands out a little bit.
Yeah. My last one here, Gary Woodland, 7,300, 74, 71 +3, 6 birdies, 9 bogeys. Like the fact that he has still made 6 birdies, even though he's +3. So he's played well off the tee. Gary Woodland's been a little bit hot and cold coming into the week. We were talking about that, how he has had some very high results, top 10s, and it just is hard to predict. So we've seen the good ball striking, especially off the tee. He's gaining about 4 strokes combined ball striking, and then really losing with his short game, but the putter is just slightly positive. To me, it's just value. Gary Woodland, 7,300. Form coming in. He's gained in 12 of his last 16, over 1.5 strokes average over those rounds, and then 6 rounds at or greater than 2.7, which to me that's like what you're looking for. You're looking for that high upside round. He has that. I think honestly with anyone, it always relies on having a hot putter through that round, but we do see that with Woodland where every once in a while the ball striking consistently kind of puts him into the opportunities, and then every once in a while he just has one of those rounds where he really closes the door on a lot of the opportunities. So chance of that happening I think are decent. I don't know how much of a name he is to attract ownership at +3 at 7,300, so I'm hoping that it does stay a little bit lower, but you never know.
I also feel like 7,300 is just kind of packed with guys. I don't have the contest up in front of me, but it seems like there's a lot between kind of 71 and 75. Like I think it just might disperse ownership a little bit in that area, just because there are a lot of names and kind of the veteran recognizable names too.
Yeah, agreed. And it's tough to try to pick between them, honestly, but
And
I'll take a couple shots with Woodland, I think, tomorrow.
yeah, for sure. Like I think Leishman's there. I think Lowry's there. So like, I
I
mean,
think
guys that can
Scott's
get it done.
there. I think there's a few of those
Yeah,
types, yeah.
yeah, and any of them could go off for
Yeah,
400.
really, all of those guys are probably fairly decent options. I'm going to take some shots with Woodland.
Yeah, fair enough. Thank you everybody for watching. Make sure to subscribe to our channel if you have not yet already. Hit that thumbs up. That shows support, and we really do appreciate it. We're going to go a little bit longer, probably with winner predictions and all of that for our Saturday night for our Sunday show. But Craig, anything else to add here?
No, we just got to get it out because for next round's starting in like 4 or 5 hours, I think. I can't even keep track.
Get it out. Make some lineups. Go to bed.
Yeah. All right. Good luck, guys. See you next time.
Good luck.